if I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So everyone, Dr. Mritunjay Chaubey is a sustainability, environment, and water and wastewater treatment expert of international repute. He has done PhD in environment engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, which is IIT Delhi. He has nearly 24 years of professional experience in renowned MNCs like Pentair, Shell, Unilever, and UPL. Dr. Chaubey has made unique position in corporate world by embedding sustainability and reducing the environmental footprint of big corporates such as Pentair, Shell, Unilever, and UPL. Currently, more than 100 environment protection sustainable technologies are successfully working in Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, and South America, designed by him. Dr. Chaubey is an editorial board member of renowned international journals like Research Journal of Chemistry and Environment, as well as Arab Water World. He is also member of Bureau of Indian Standards for making BIS standards for water and wastewater treatment and environment protection. More than 50 technical papers has been published in renowned international journals and conferences with his name. Dr. Chaubey is author of renowned book Wastewater Treatment Technologies Designs Consideration, published by Wiley Publisher USA. Dr. Chaubey is currently working as Global Vice President, Environment, Sustainability and Green Cell with UPL. Recently, Dr. Chaubey is awarded with Most Influential Sustainability Leader Award, Chief Sustainability Officer of the Year Award, and the Asian Sustainable Leadership Award. So with this very short introduction, we welcome Dr. Chaubey once again on this platform. And sir, we can continue with your presentation now. Sorry for the disturbances.
So thank you, Dr. Pratibha Gautam. Am I audible? My audio video is clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kunal sir, you can stop sharing this presentation so that Chaubey sir can share the presentation.
Right. So you can stop this sharing presentation, then I will able to share it. So I think let me start. Thank you all of the. First, let me thank Dr. Pratibha Gautam for a brief introduction. And I also thanks to UPL University Sustainable Technology, especially to Department of Environment Science and Technology, to organizing this one-day seminar on the ESG. ESG means environment, social governance. So what I feel that at this moment of time, ESG is at the central stage of all the corporate, all the company, and several times we have confusion. Someone talk sustainability, someone talk ESG. So just to clear at the beginning, ESG is nothing but sustainability. So in sustainability also, our aim happens to be cover environmental dimension, social dimension, and governance dimension, and ESG also talk. So it's same for the corporate and company, that whether we say sustainability or ESG. Nowadays at India, at a stock exchange, we got several kind of regulations are coming on the ESG disclosures, and several norms has been mandated, and all the listed company have to follow related to ESG norms and regulation. So with that, we find that there is a increasing interest toward the ESG. Now, in my presentation, the ESG and sustainability is a subject where we can speak and we can take a lot of time, because it is very big subject. And at present, I am heading UPL globally, environment and sustainability. And we are driving at UPL sustainability. And I feel that today, if you see, UPL is a fifth largest company globally among agrochemicals. But nowadays, UPL is famous for the sustainability, because today, if you see all the agrochemicals globally, no agrochemicals company get listed in Dow Jones Sustainability Yearbook. Only UPL get listed in the DJSI Sustainability Yearbook, and our score at Dow Jones Sustainability Index is higher among all agrochemicals globally. And it's not only DJSI. If you see a premier rating agency from the Netherlands, Sustainalytics, Sustainalytics has also rated UPL #1 in sustainability globally among the agrochemical company. If you see the FTSE Russell, they have also rated us very well. So nowadays, we are much more famous for the sustainability, and some of the program which we have started, one part we have embedded sustainability inside our organization. So we will discuss here that in detail during my presentation. But just to share you that one hand we are trying to bring down our environment footprint globally, and successfully last 5 years we have reduced 30% our environment footprint, and we are committed that in coming 5 years we will reduce 25% further. And in the near term, we have set our science-based target, and that target is reduce our environment footprint globally 62% by 2035. So that is the medium-term target based upon science-based target. And the long-term target is carbon neutrality by 2040. So these things we have done at UPL operation, but we have started several sustainability program. One, our company, Nurture.farm, they have started one program, and that program is to, hello? Anyone want to say anything? Okay, so that our program is avoid a stubble burning, and they have covered at Haryana. And last year, if you see, we have avoided carbon emission, which is equivalent to our scope 1 and 2 emissions globally. So just in 1 year, through one program at Haryana, our Nurture.farm has saved carbon emission, which is equivalent to total UPL scope 1 and scope 2 emissions globally. So that kind of several program we are taking. Now, coming to this presentation, now I want to concentrate more to our today topic. And today I shall cover during my presentation introduction to ESG. So I think many more people, many participants may be knowing, but just in the interest of those also who don't know much more. So I shall start with introduction to ESG. Then I shall discuss ESG framework, and that framework we have applied at UPL. And that can be applied globally, and that ESG framework can be applied in any business, any company. So that I shall discuss with you. And then we will also discuss some of the international ESG rating process and their matrices. So that also mainly I shall discuss Dow Jones Sustainability Index, how they carry out, and how their rating process is. And then last I shall cover science-based targets, Also, if time will be there, then I shall cover some small on TCFD reporting. And then at last, I shall share our UPL sustainability goal and targets, that what goal and targets we have taken at UPL and how we are pursuing. So I think these things we will cover during today's presentation. So now let me share the presentation. Okay. I'm just sharing. Okay. You are a screen share. Is it coming? Anything?
No, sir. I think we have shared the screen. So some other window is coming.
Is it coming a screen?
So PPT is not visible yet.
Okay.
Presentation is.
1 minute. Let me stop first sharing and then. Yes. Now is it coming?
Yes, sir. It is coming.
Okay, fine. Just I am adjusting my screen. Okay, fine. Now let us adjust it. Good. So presentation is coming fully. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
audio is also clear.
Yes, sir. Audio, video both are clear.
Good. So now we will start the presentation. So as I told you that I shall cover the topic. So this already I have told that what I am going to cover during this presentation. Now coming to topic, introduction to ESG. I think here, before starting this ESG, whenever we try to embed ESG or sustainability, then first we try to see that in any business or in any corporate, what they want. And if you see ideally, then any business, they want that they must be profitable, number one. Number two, they want that they should not harm to the environment, because if they have to be 100% environmental compliance, then they should not harm to the environment. So this also will happen to business. And the third, we try to see that our business must be acceptable among the community. The community which is nearby, they must accept our business. And fourth thing is our business must attract investors. And fifth thing is that it must attract the talent. So if you see all these 5 parameters to ensure profitability, to ensure no pollution, to ensure acceptability among the community, to ensure talent attraction, and to ensure investor attraction, I think today only one tool is available worldwide for the business, and that is the ESG, or you can say sustainability. So this is the only tool available, and this is the only framework which ensure all 5 things together. It ensure profitability, it ensure no pollution to environment, it ensure acceptability among the community, it ensure investor attraction, and also it ensure talent attraction. So I think that topic today we are going to discuss that what is ESG and what framework available for ESG and how we should embed into our business. So coming to the, anyone want to say anything? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So ESG means environment, social, and governance. So E comes from the environment, S comes for the social, G comes for the governance. And I think here you can see that under environment, normally the weightage for a chemical sector, if any rating agency used to rate, then they provide 33% weightage in the chemical sector to the environment and 32% weightage to the social and 35% weightage to the governance. And these 1-2% go plus and minus with the rating agency. Different rating agency have different weightage, but mainly these three criteria happens to be in ESG. And when we see the environment, then mostly we must have to take care of environmental reporting. So environmental reporting is very important, and that we used to do with the sustainability reporting. And any business must disclose that how much emission they have done, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, and also what harm they have done to the environment, and what kind of environment protection measures they are taking, what kind of pollution control measures they are taking. So these all comes under the environmental reporting. Second is environment policy and management system. So this is also very important for any company. And if we want to embed ESG inside our organization, then this is very important under environment section, that we must have a right environment policy and management system in place. Because if we don't have a right and appropriate environment policy and management system in place, then it's very difficult to embed the agenda of environment protection. So this is also one of very important, and we should take care. Third is operation eco-efficiency. So here the main drive should be that how we should use our natural resources responsibly. And under operation eco-efficiency, we must have to ensure that we should use less water, we should use less energy, we should use discharge less waste in environment. So the summary is that we must ensure the responsible use of natural resources while making the production. Then product stewardship comes under environment, and this is very important, that whatever product we are making, so we must do the carbon cycle analysis. And life cycle analysis is very important for any product which we manufacture. And also we should try to ensure that the minimum environment footprint get associated with the product which we manufacture. And it's not only during the manufacturing, but we should try to do the LCA, which is called life cycle assessment. And this is very important for all the product which we manufacture. Then biodiversity. Biodiversity is also very important for us, and we must ensure that there is no impact on the biodiversity while making any manufacturing process or any business going on. So this must ensure zero harm to our biodiversity. And after biodiversity, climate strategy. So climate strategy nowadays is very important for any organization. And most of our rating, if you see the ESG rating or sustainability rating, then climate strategy is very important. And those companies who have a good climate strategy, then they get a very good rating. And under climate strategy, all the things come. One is how we should decarbonize our business. So there should be a strategy on decarbonization. We should must set our science-based targets for the emission reduction. We should must have a TCFD report, because the TCFD report, which full form is Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure, and TCFD report ensure that your business will be resilient toward the climate change. So there we do the scenario analysis that going forward, how climate change will impact the business, and the opportunity, risk, those things get figured out during the scenario analysis in the TCFD report. So those organizations who have TCFD report, who have science-based target, who have all the environmental policies and management system in place, so they always get a very good rating, a score on the climate strategy. And the last point is water related risk. So under environment section, nowadays, water happens to be very prominent parameter. And those companies who used to handle this water related risk very well, then they get very good score. And the expectation of community is that we should use as minimum as possible water during our manufacturing process and our operation. Because if you ask from me that what is the major conflict going to be happening in the world, then I can say that the major conflict may happen because of water. And it's not my, several people are forecasting that the major point of conflict between the society and the corporate seems to be water, because water is very essential for the survival of human being. And today, everywhere we get the water scarcity. And when water is not available to community, then they think that our water has been taken away by the manufacturing plant and the corporate, and that happens to be major conflict. So I think the main issue which we can address, that we should always focus to use very responsibly water resource. Second is that our wastewater should be properly treated, and it should not pollute the water stream, that we have to ensure 100%. And third is, I feel that we should make our zero dependency on the groundwater, because groundwater still is the main source for several communities for the drinking water. And if we use groundwater, then the groundwater table depletion comes in that area, and that happens to be a major conflict among the community and corporate. So as much as possible, we should reduce our dependency on the groundwater. Now coming to the social, I think social is also very important, and under social, we focus one on that the regular our CSR report comes. So CSR report and CSR activities are very important for any company. In India, it's mandatory also to spend nearly 2%. Then labor practices indicators. Under labor practices indicators, we try to see that what kind of policy we have related to employment. Human right is very important, and we must get audited every year regarding the violation of human rights. There should be no violation, zero violation on the human rights. Human capital development, here our HR play very important role, and how our HR policies are related to employee, that also accounted during ESG rating process. Talent attraction and retention. Here we try to see attrition rate. And today, those company or those business who have minimum attrition rate, so that is good for the ESG or sustainability. And maybe recently we have seen a lot of very high attrition rate in our IT sector. So if you see the our IT sector nowadays, they are suffering from high attrition rate, and that is the biggest problem for them. So we should try to minimize our attrition rate. And if you see Dow Jones Sustainability Index or other rating agency, then for chemical sector, they say that if your attrition rate is below 6%, then it's very good. So up to 6% or below 6% is very good. But if your attrition rate is higher than 6%, then they start rating poorly that organization under social section. Then corporate citizen and philanthropy. So I think that is also very important, and maybe a lot of CSR activity get associated with this. Occupational health and safety. So safety is very important under ESG, and normally LTIFR get tracked, and those company whose LTIFR is less than 0.5, then they consider good. But if it is more than 0.5, then they get rated very poorly. And the last is customer relationship management. So this is also important under social section. And we try to see that customer satisfaction index should be very good and disclosed in the public domain. So we have covered E part, environment, we have covered social, and under governance, governance is also rated equally under ESG, and corporate governance, materiality assessment. So any company, if they want to be very good in ESG, then the first work they should conduct is the materiality assessment. And materiality assessment help us to find our material issue, and that must be addressed year over year. Then risk and crisis management, there should be committee, there should be process to manage the risk and crisis. Business ethics are very important. Our tax strategy is very important, because mostly with tax strategy, the problem comes for the global companies. And from global company, we expect that you should disclose the tax in every country, every region. You make the disclosure that how much tax you have paid. It's not enough that just one tax you have disclosed that total so much tax has been paid. It should be disclosed regionally, and that's very important for the tax strategy. Then cyber security nowadays is very important under governance, and under cyber security, I think those organizations who is certified with ISO 27001, then they rated very well under the information and cyber security. And innovation management, that also happens to be very important, that how we are managing the innovation inside our organization. So I think this is the introduction about the ESG, and I have tried to cover brief. If we will go on speaking in all these areas, it will take much more time, but hopefully I have covered a small brief on the ESG. Now going to the next step. See, when we are talking ESG, then here on this presentation, you can see that what is the top motivation for the ESG. And this is a survey which conducted, one in 2019 and another in 2021. And what we have found during this survey, you can see that in 2019, the major motivation was improved long-term return. So out of all the parameters, 52% company responded that they used to embed ESG because they want improved on long-term return, and 52% they prefer that 52% they are having the opinion that they embedding the sustainability just with the aim of improved long-term return. But in 2021, what happened when the ESG survey get conducted globally, then it was found that brand and reputation has overtaken returns as the main ESG driver. So in 2021, 59% respondent, they say that we embed ESG because of brand and reputation. And they feel that brand and reputation is very important and it can be created by the ESG or sustainability. And those organizations who are embedding sustainability inside their business, so their brand reputation goes very high. And then you can see that how decreased investment risk, that is also one of the major motivators for the ESG. Then external stakeholders requirement. So the main summary of this slide is this, that nowadays people prefer ESG. Why? Because they feel that the brand and reputation is very important, and that can be by embedding ESG inside the business. Now coming to framework, in this slide we should discuss ESG management framework, and this is very important because unless until we have the right framework for the ESG in the organization, it's very difficult to embed the sustainability ESG inside the organization. So you can see here, this framework we have applied at UPL. And I feel from last 5-6 years, we are working on all these framework. And today, UPL is very well placed as far as this ESG management framework is concerned. But it is equally important for all the organization, all the corporate. And under ESG management framework, 4 things are very important. One is that our goal, our ESG goal should be disclosed in the public domain, and we should be very clear with our goal and target. Reporting is equally important. Then the ESG certifications and ESG ratings. So goal, reporting, certification, and rating. All these 4 are important, and you can see that how framework, a right framework can be created And regarding sustainability goals or ESG goals, we feel that there are three frameworks which should be aligned. One is SDG. So we have 17 SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and that 17 SDGs must be aligned with our sustainability or ESG goal. So at UPL, we have set our sustainability goals. 4 goals we have set, and those 4 goals are fully aligned with the SDGs. Second is our goals must be aligned with science-based targets. So unless until we follow the trajectory of 1.5 degrees Celsius world, it's very difficult to survive. So our goals must be aligned with the science-based targets, and also it should be aligned with Paris Agreement on climate change. So while setting the ESG goal of any organization, I think 3 factors must be taken into account. One is that our goal should be aligned with SDG. Our goal should be aligned with science-based targets, and our goals should be aligned with Paris Agreement, Paris Climate Agreement. And we have set at UPL 4 goals. So our first goal is reduce environment footprint. Second is enhance world food security. Third is enhance sustainable sourcing. And fourth is community well-being. And if you see those 4 goals, 4 targets are associated, and that I shall cover at the last slide. But if you analyze, then our goals are fully aligned with the SDG, fully aligned with science-based target, fully aligned with the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, the second important point is during ESG Management Framework is global reporting. And we must report what we are doing. And our reporting means sustainability reporting should be as per GRI guidelines. So it must align with the GRI guidelines, follow the GRI standards. Also, our reporting should be as per TCFD reporting. So we must disclose our TCFD report, and we should do the scenario analysis related to climate change. And our sustainability report must follow the 10 principle of UN Global Compact, and it must be indexed in the sustainability report. So sustainability reporting is equally important, and they should follow all these framework, GRI, UNGC, TCFD. Third important point is global certifications. And there, here I have covered 3 prominent certifications. And if this is with any organization, then I can say that more or less the sustainability get driven very well in that organization. And this is the certification which show that you have driven your sustainability very well inside the organization. And these certifications are under chemical industry. First is the responsible care. So today, if you see in India, I think 79 companies are logo holder of responsible care. And responsible care is a very good initiative of Indian Chemical Council. And those companies who get audited by ICC, and they follow all the guidelines and their standards, their codes, then they used to provide certification of responsible care, and they authorize the company to use responsible care logo. So our UPL is a logo holder of responsible care. The second is FTSE for good. So FTSE for good certification comes from FTSE Russell, and UPL is certified FTSE for good logo holder. They used to provide these logo only top 15% company globally. So this is the restriction, that only top 15% global company can get FTSE for good logo. And they used to evaluate regarding ESG, and those company who perform better in ESG, top 15% get FTSE for good logo. And our UPL is logo holder of FTSE for good as well. The third thing is Together for Sustainability, TFS. And this is very important for our sustainable procurement. And those companies who are member of TFS means they have ensured the sustainable procurement. And this is a very good certification for the company to ensure the sustainability, good ESG practices inside procurement. Then fourth is global rating. So I think a lot of global rating agencies are there in ESG, and day by day it is increasing. But if you see, I feel that as far as respondent is concerned and quality is concerned, we rate one of the prominent rating agency, DJSI. So if you have taken a score, very good score from the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, then it's considered a good company. And FTSE Russell, they also used to provide the sustainability rating from London Stock Exchange. And Sustainalytics is from Netherlands, and this is also international rating agency, and they also rate as far as ESG is concerned. So I think here we have covered that how ESG management framework should be for any company. And if you apply this framework today in India and see that which company, which goal is 100% aligned with the SDG, Science-Based Target, Paris Climate Agreement, which company who have reporting system as per GRI, and also they have TCFD report, which company who is certified with RC logo, FTSE for good, TFS, and which company who have a very good score from the DJSI, FTSE Sustainalytics, then you will find we have conducted one survey, and just we have conducted a survey for the Nifty 50 company, because in India, if you see in a stock exchange listed company, then under Nifty, top 50 companies are listed. And if you see Nifty 50, which considered as a topmost listed company of the India, only 10% company from the Nifty 50 get qualified under this framework. And those are mostly IT sector. So I think a lot of work is needed to embed the ESG and to bring all the companies into this kind of ESG management framework. Now here, what I was talking, the survey, Nifty 50 compliance to ESG, we did one survey, and we just try to see that from Nifty 50 company, Nifty 50, maybe most of people aware that top 50 listed company in the stock exchange. And we try to just figure out that how many companies have sustainability reporting as per GRI guidelines and assured by the third party? How many companies have good score in DJSI? How many companies have disclosed scope 3 emissions? How many companies have set science-based targets? And how many companies have TCFD report? So you can see here summary. And this is right now situation. Maybe 2-3 weeks earlier, we did this all evaluation and search in-house at UPL through public domain. And what our team found, our team has done very excellent work, and we were just interested to understand that how Nifty 50 is doing against sustainability. And I think first time I am sharing to in a public domain with anyone. So the audience who are here, they will get first time this result. And you will see under sustainability reporting, only 68% Nifty 50 companies have the sustainability report assured by the third party. So I think we can say fairly good, 60%, 68% is good. But if you think it's not all the listed company, it is just top 50 company. And if top 50 listed company in India, only 68% have sustainability report as per GRI and third party assured, then I don't think it is a good situation. Our expectation is that the India top 50 listed company, this 100% sustainability report this must have. And so why now a new regulation has come from the our stock exchange, and they have made mandatory that the sustainability reporting is mandatory for the listed company. And this is the situation for top 50 companies of India who have been listed, and only 68% today they are disclosing through the sustainability report. The second is Dow Jones Sustainability Index score. If you see the average score of all the 50 companies, then it is coming only 48.9 out of 100. So you can see that the world average listed companies score, if you see, then to qualify in the sustainability yearbook, it's coming nearly 70. And our top 50 companies, some company have scored maybe 70, some company have scored maybe 5, some maybe 10, some maybe 60. So if you come out with the average score of top Nifty 50 companies, then it is coming 48.9. So I feel that it is very poor out of 100. Today, if you see the score of ours, UPL, then our score is 66 out of 100 at DJSI. And Nifty 50 average score is 48.9. So I think a lot of work need to be done as far as ESG implementation at our public listed companies are concerned. The third parameters we have evaluated are scope 3 emissions disclosure. So I think many of you are aware that we have 3 emissions. One is a scope 1, second is a scope 2, and third is a scope 3. And what is a scope 1 emission, what is a scope 2 emission, what is a scope 3 emission, that I shall cover in the next presentation, next slide. But just to summarize that how many Nifty 50 company have disclosed the scope 3 emissions, it's coming only 44%. Only 44% company have disclosed a scope 3 emissions, and rest have not disclosed it. Then science-based targets commitment. So if you see science-based target commitment, here only 12% Nifty 50 companies have committed science-based target. So very poor score is there. Then TCFD report. TCFD report, we have found 24% Nifty 50 company have TCFD report. And if you combined all together, all the ESG framework, then only 10% Nifty 50 listed company qualify with the framework what right now in the earlier slide I have shown to you. So this is the present situation related to ESG with our Nifty 50 listed companies at the stock exchange. Now, just this slide, you can see that there are so many rating agencies globally. And you can see that how experts' views are on ESG rating agency. And this survey came from, I think, ERM has conducted. I have given the source also here, so you can go there and see the detail. But what summary is that out of several ESG rating agency, if you see the survey, then as far as quality is concerned, ESG rating quality, so top the respondents given top marks to the CDP. So CDP comes on the top. Second is Robeco-Sam Corporate Sustainability Assessment. This is called, sometimes people know, DJSI, Dow Jones Sustainability Index. That is nothing but Robeco-Sam. And now it has been with S&P Global. So now S&P Global used to conduct the corporate sustainability assessment. So it's same thing. Earlier the people no name, so why it is figure out, but it is S&P Global corporate sustainability assessment and Sustainalytics. So I think if you see ESG quality wise or ESG rating usefulness, then the top 3 ESG rating agencies emerged are, first is the DJSI, Dow Jones Sustainability Index, second CDP, and third is Sustainalytics. So this is just a survey, and based upon survey, how the people have rated, I have shared with you, but this opinion may differ. And I am not saying that these are the only agency who are at the top, but this is the some view, some survey which I have shared with you. Now, these here you can see world leading rating agency, and this is the example of UPL, that how UPL has been rated by international ESG rating agency globally in last 5 years. And if you see DJSI, Dow Jones Sustainability Index, our ESG rating has improved 214% in last 5 years. And today our score is 66, which is highest among the all agrochemical companies globally. So today UPL DJSI score is highest among all agrochemicals globally. If you see FTSE Russell, there also we have improved nearly 112% improvement in the rating at FTSE Russell. And if you see Sustainalytics, why it is decreasing? Because they do the ESG risk reduction, and those companies who have been rated less means they have less risk as far as ESG concerned, and less score is always better in Sustainalytics. And this is the ESG risk reduction trend, and you can see that we have reduced nearly 50% our risk in last 5 years. And our score is highest among agrochemicals at DJSI. So why we are listed in the DJSI Sustainability Yearbook powered by S&P Global. So we are in the DJSI yearbook. So I think this is just example I have given that how our rating is as far as ESG is concerned. Now come to the Dow Jones Sustainability Index timeline. And this is the process which normally DJSI follow. So first they invite, they send the invitation in month of February to all the corporates globally, and they invite for the participation. Then in April, every year of April, they send an online questionnaire, and their questionnaire happens to be very, very detailed. I think it happens to be 300 pages. You can see here, I don't know whether if you are able to see that how the big questionnaire happens to be. So nearly 300 pages questionnaire they used to send, and the company have to send their respond against those questions, and those are divided into three sections. One is on environment dimension, second is social dimension, and third is governance dimension. So they cover fully ESG metrics, and we have to support through the documents. And then our deadline happens to be either in July or August. So normally they set deadline July, but if someone requests, then they extend up to August also. But normally June to August deadline happens to be for the submission of response. And then between October to December, DJSI every year announce the result and a score. So this is the process of DJSI, and I think those who want to participate, they may follow this process. This is a typical example that how the Dow Jones Sustainability Index send the score to any company. And you can see here all the parameters. So on governance economic dimension, they used to see the code of business conduct, corporate governance, they rate on customer relationship management, they rate on information security, cyber security, innovation management, materiality assessment, policy influence, risk and crisis management, tax strategy. So on all these parameters, they provide the score to company, that what is your score. And also they send that what is the industry average, what is the industry base, what is the world average, what is the Europe, North America, Asia Pacific, emerging market. So I think you can see here that, and you can see the weightage also, that how much weightage they have given. So very elaborate a score comes, and this happens to be very good driver for the any organization. And I feel that it is a mirror of any company who can see that how they have done in 1 year well as far as ESG is concerned. And you can see the sub-metrics also under environment, climate strategy, environment policy management system, environmental reporting, operational eco-efficiency, product stewardship, water-related risk, and social also. You can see they have covered corporate citizenship, human capital development, human right, labor practices indicator, occupational health and safety, social reporting, talent attraction and retention. So these score comes when they declare the result. And this happens to be very good for any company to see that how they have performed. And every year they provide the chance to improve. Every year they send the score. So I think this is very good, a scorecard. And this is also act as a mirror for us to see that how we are performing as far as ESG is concerned. Now go to the next. This is the scope 3 emissions. So here I have given example of UPL. We have also disclosed a scope 1, a scope 2, a scope 3 emissions. And if you see agrochemical, you may relate. UPL is a agrochemical company. And in our emission, what we have found that 16% emission is from a scope 1, 5% from a scope 2, and 79% from a scope 3. And you can see here what is a scope 1 emission, what is a scope 2 emissions, and what is a scope 3 emission. So you can see in this slide very well. Just let me see the time. I think time is 12:11. I have only time up to 12:30. So I think I am going very slowly. So quickly now I shall speed up the things. Anyway, we have only 20 minutes left. So we will cover very quickly next one. But why I am very slow? Because I think it's not important how much things we have covered, but whatever we are talking, it should get connected with you. And if it is of some of your use, or if it is helpful in embedding sustainability inside your organization, then I found that maybe my presentation is useful. And if you don't find it useful, if you don't find it informative, then I think that unnecessarily we have spent 1.5 hour time. So, okay, so let's understand about the emissions. So a scope 1 emission is those energy which produced and used in company premises. So suppose if your factory is there and you are using coal to generate the energy, if you are using furnace oil, or if you are using renewable energy or gas, those all come under a scope 1 emission. And we try to see that how much carbon emission associated with this scope 1 emission. A scope 2 emission is those energy which is used inside our premises but get produced outside our premises, like electricity. If you see grid power, then we use electricity inside our premises, but it getting generated outside our premises. So under a scope 2, we take electricity. And second is, if you are buying a steam, if you are generating a steam inside your premises, then it goes under a scope 1. But if you are taking a steam from outside through certain pipeline, then it will go under a scope 2. And a scope 3 is a very important. And I think as I have shown you, very few companies have a scope 3 emission disclosure at India. And why? Because it's very difficult to calculate. And under a scope 3 emissions, there are 15 categories, but here I have listed 9 categories. And the prominent category is purchased goods and services. So all the raw material which we use to source for our production, that comes under a scope 3 emission. So suppose you have purchased one raw material, then you have to find out that your supplier who have produced that raw material, how much carbon emission he has done. And when we were calculating at UPL, then we have nearly 5,000 supplier base for our raw material. And so we used Gabi software, and Gabi software is very good in calculating a scope 3 emission. So purchase goods and services, capital goods, upstream transportation and distribution, downstream transportation and distribution, all business travel, employee commuting, leased assets, these all comes under scope 3 emissions. And here is a typical example of this. Here I have given example of UPL, that how scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3 are, and maybe maximum emission comes from the scope 3. So here in our case 79% emission is from a scope 3, and from a scope 1 16%, a scope 2 5%. And if you see direct control happens to be only on a scope 1 and 2, where you can control. On a scope 3 we must have to decrease, but it's become very difficult, because you have to calculate and control all the outside agencies who are associated with you. So today, if you see the Nifty 50 companies, then only 44% company have disclosed a scope 3 emissions. Now, science-based target. So this is very important nowadays, that whatever the target we are setting, that should be science-based target. So to set science-based target, we have one organization called SBTI, Science-Based Target Initiative, and SBTI is promoted by under partner organization CDP, United Nations Global Compact, World Resources Institute, and WWF. So these 4 organizations is partner of SBTI, and SBTI have developed a tool, certain tool, and we should must have set our target as per that tool, and that tool follow the trajectory of either 2 degrees Celsius or 1.5 degrees Celsius. So mainly if you see our science-based targets, that shows organization how much and how quickly they need to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions to prevent the worst effect of climate change. And this is nowadays very important, and our targets must be set in line with SBTI. Now, how to set the science-based target? This is the process. First, we have to commit. So we have to submit a letter to SBTI that yes, we are committed to set the science-based target. So that is the first step, where the written commitment companies should submit to the SBTI. Second is, after submission, you develop. Here the requirement is that you must have all the emissions in place. You must calculate a scope 1, a scope 2, a scope 3 as well. Those organizations who have not calculated a scope 3 emission, they cannot submit their science-based target. So we must have 3 emissions get calculated, and then we should follow the criteria of SBTI, and we should develop our science-based target, and based upon the criteria set by SBTI, we should submit our target to SBTI officially. So third process is submit your target to the SBTI. Then SBTI used to approve it, and after approving, we can announce that yes, we have SBT science-based target, and we can disclose in the reports. So this is the a very detailed process of setting science-based target. Now here some of the example you can see that in a science-based target calculation, 2 scenario is allowed. Either you should follow well below 2 degrees Celsius scenario, or you can follow 1.5 degree scenario. But if you are following 1.5 degree scenario, then it's became more astringent. The target became more astringent. And if you are following well below 2 degree scenario, then slightly less astringent than the 1.5 degree. But both scenario is allowed, and it is up to the company to follow anyone. Now here you can see some of the targets. Here I have covered only 3 company example: Syngenta, Bayer, and UPL. And you can see that how the science-based target for the Syngenta is. They have announced that they will reduce 68% by 2030 from 16 baseline. If you see Bayer, they have announced that for scope 1 and 2, they will reduce 42% by 2029. And if you see UPL, which is our organization, so we have committed that by 2035, UPL will reduce scope 1 and scope 2 emissions 62%. And also scope 3, we have committed reduction 39.2%. So like that, we have to develop our science-based target and send to for the approval to SBTi. Once SBTi approve the target, then we used to announce. Now, TCFD report, I will not cover much more, but just let me share just one slide. In the interest of time, we will just go through one. TCFD report is very important for any organization, and TCFD means a Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure. This report do the scenario analysis of any company on climate change. So in coming 10 years of time, what kind of climate change will take place and how your business will get impacted. Those scenario analysis get done in TCFD report. And finally, we come with the financial figure that how much risk is associated due to climate change, how much opportunity company have due to climate change, and then how much net risk, net implication is associated with climate change. And I think here one example I have given that when we do the scenario analysis, then we try to figure out all the locations of company. Suppose one company is there and they have 50-60 manufacturing plant. So you do the scenario analysis with the location, and under that location, we try to see that how much risk with the landslide, how much risk associated with wildfire, how much coastal flood, how much risk with the earthquake, how much risk is there with water scarcity, how much risk is there with extreme heat, how much with urban flood, how much with tsunami, how much with river flood, how much cyclone. So we try to figure out that on that location, if red is marked, means very high risk is associated related to that parameter on that location. Yellow means medium and low, and if it's green, then very low. Here I have given one example that this is our locations, means our UPL plant globally. They are at Jagadia, Ankleshwar, Brazil, Colombia, France, then Vapi, South Africa, Mexico, Jammu, Belgium, France, USA, Colombia, Argentina, France. So why France 2 times? Because we may have the 2 locations inside France country. So 2 exact location is not mentioned here, but 2 times France means 2 location will be there. And then we have tried to find out that how the risk is. So like this, we do the all scenario analysis, and then we calculate that how much risk is associated, how much opportunity is there, and how much net implication will come out of climate change. So I think this is the, if you see our TCFD report, UPL, then more than 50-page report. So all the organization need to have their TCFD report, because it is very good report where we try to see that how we can mitigate the climate change risk. So how business is prepared to mitigate the climate change risk. Nowadays, all the investors, they used to ask that where is your TCFD report? Okay, so I think now quickly we will cover SDG and goals and targets. So what I shall do here, I shall provide you a case study, means one example of UPL, that how we set our sustainability goal and target. And I think different organizations have different strategy to set their sustainability goal and target. But here I shall explain that what we did at UPL. So all of the first, since our sustainability goals need to get aligned with the SDG. So among the 17 SDG, we have prioritized 5 SDG. That what are the 5 priority SDG for our business? And we have found that among 17, our priority SDG is SDG number 2, zero hunger, SDG number 3, good health and well-being, SDG number 7, affordable and clean energy, SDG number 9, that is the industry innovation, and SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production. So we have prioritized these 5 SDG among the 17 SDGs which is available. And then we set our sustainability vision, goal, and target. So you can see here UPL sustainability vision. Our vision is working with farmers to help them feed the world sustainably. And our goal by 2025. So we have set 4 goals for 2025. And first goal is reduce environment footprint, which is aligned with SDG 7 and SDG 12. Goal number 2, enhance world food security, that is aligned with SDG 2 and SDG 9. Goal 3, enhance sustainable sourcing. It is aligned with SDG 3, SDG 12. And the 4th goal is strengthen community well-being. And this goal is aligned with SDG 2 and SDG 3. And then you can see the target also, respective target. And under goal 1, we have set target that by 2025, we will reduce 20% our specific water. We will reduce 25% specific carbon emission. We will reduce 25% specific waste from baseline 2019-20. So in 1920, we set this sustainability goal, and for 5 years, we have said that this will be our sustainability goals and target. Similarly, under goal 2, we have set target that we will achieve 50% revenue from the innovative and sustainable solutions. So nowadays, you may have seen one of our very good sustainable product is Jiba. So if anyone uses Jiba, then they will clearly, they can reduce 15 to 20% water demand, and they can improve the production yield production will be improved. Similarly, we are using a certain kind of decomposer which avoid the stubble burning. So that is also a sustainable product. And we have biologicals. So under biological, we are number one among the world. And biologicals are also very good to control the pest. And then under third goal, enhance sustainable sourcing, our target is to achieve 60% sustainable sourcing. And under fourth goal, community well-being, our target is to impact 3 million lives through our education, health, and sanitation projects. So I think this is about UPL sustainability goals and target. And with this, I shall end my presentation, and then we can go for the question answer, and then we will conclude. So thank you. Let's go for the questions.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledgeable presentation. Am I audible?
Yes. Audio.
Sir, we have 2-3 questions from the participants. The first question is from Mr. Sachin Kherkar. He's asking, what was the need to bring in term ESG when sustainability was already in place? And since when ESG as a term congruent to sustainability came into picture?
So I think this is a confusion among the people between ESG and sustainability. Actually, if you see the principle, both are same. Somebody say ESG, somebody say sustainability. Under sustainability also, we try to cover 3 dimensions: environment, social, governance. And under ESG also, it's nothing but environment, social, governance. So it's not different if anyone is saying that they have embedded sustainability into their business agenda. It means they have embedded ESG. And if you are saying that my sustainability score is this, that is ESG score. So it's both are same.
So one more question from S. Vega Duriseti. She is asking, is it mandatory for a company to perform ESG?
See, still there is no mandatory regulation, but at the beginning I told that if any organization, for them 4 or 5 things are very important. First is it should be profitable. Second, they should not harm to environment. Third, community must accept that business. Fourth, they must attract the investor, means investment must be get attracted by that business, then only they will grow. And fifth is they must attract the talent, because today skilled manpower play very important role in any business. And all these 5 requirements, I think only we can meet with the ESG or sustainability. There is no other tool, no other framework which will ensure all the 5. So why ESG or sustainability is very important for business. And I think now business is forced to follow. It's not mandatory. They are forced to follow. If they will not follow, they will not survive. Business cannot go as usual. And those who are not going to embed the ESG or sustainability into business, I am sure that going forward 5-10 years, that business will be out of, means they will be out from the business. So this is the requirement. Everyone must have to follow. And I think all the top company globally, if you see, everyone is talking sustainability, ESG. Everyone is embedding. Another indicator we can see, you see the listed company, whether it is Nifty 50 or whether London Stock Exchange, or you see the US Stock Exchange. those companies whose rating in the ESG is better, they are performing better. In last 5-10 years, if you see the survey and the research, all the better ESG score company, they have performed very well in their financial performance also. Okay.
So next question is from Mr. Chinmay Shah. He's asking, what are the various tools for sustainability reporting? Which one is good and why?
So I think that I have explained in my presentation. GRI standard I follow very good for the sustainability reporting, and GRI standard means Global Reporting Initiative. It is a global in nature, and if you see the sustainability report, then most of company follow GRI standard, and also at the same time it should be assured by the third party. It should not happen that you have written your own report, no audit, no assurance. So it must be assured by the third party, then it's good. So I think two requirements. First requirement that your sustainability report should come every year. Second requirement, you follow the GRI standard. So whatever the GRI standard, you will follow in your reporting. And third is, it should be assured by the third party. So at UPL, we get assurance by KPMG, but so many agencies are there who do the audit and they provide the assurance.
So one more question. It is from Prashant Kumar. Which is best guideline, like CDP or EcoVadis, which needs to maintain?
So I have already shared some of the survey reports. So I don't want to say myself, but it is the survey report from the global respondent, and the ERM has put that survey report on their website. So that data is showing. EcoVadis is nowhere. Three top agencies are, one is DJSI, second is Sustainalytics, CDP. So CDP, DJSI, Sustainalytics, they have been rated top ESG rating agency. But it is as per that survey. I don't want to put myself into the controversy that why I am preferring. It's depend upon every individual. Anyone can see usefulness in any rating agency. All rating agencies are doing good work, and they try to rate good as possible. But just I have shared the opinion of one of the survey.
I think we can take one or two more questions because there are plenty of questions that can be answered later on. So I'm going to one more question, which is from Priyanka Dhalaria. How to set SBTI targets for company? Is there any process for materiality assessment?
So SBTI, nothing has to do with the materiality assessment. Actually, materiality assessment is important for sustainability reporting. So first you have to identify the material issues, and always in sustainability report, you report that what you are doing on all those material issues. But SBTI is toward setting the target of decarbonization. So you have emissions, a scope 1 emission, a scope 2 emission, a scope 3 emission, and you have to first declare all the emissions. Then second step is that you use the tool of SBTI to calculate that how much emission you have to reduce in coming 15 years of time, such that you follow the trajectory of 1.5 degrees Celsius. And that you have to ensure. And once you have set your target as per SBTI tool, then you have to submit to the SBTI. And SBTI will verify whether all the calculations are proper and good. And once SBTI approves the target, then we can say that yes, this is our science-based target. But this is very good if one organization setting science-based target, it means it's showing that they are committed for the decarbonization of their business. That company is committed to decrease the environment footprint, and that company is committed to have a 1.5 degrees Celsius world. Means they are committed that we will not increase the global warming, global temperature. So this is very good that the company must set the science-based target.
So I think last question. Rest of the questions can be answered through mail later on. It is from Dr. Lokesh Kumar. Is there any certified bodies or agencies who do the third-party audits? If so, who certified those agencies for preparing sustainability report?
So under GRI, Global Reporting Initiative, certain guidelines are there, and certain certification is provided to the agency. And today there are several companies who are authorized to provide the assurance, third-party assurance. So this is related to assurance or the certification? Your question is with what?
Assurance or third-party audits.
Okay, third-party. Okay, then I'm right. I'm rightly replying. So what we have chosen, our assurance given by KPMG, and but there are several companies who are providing the third-party assurance. But yes, that company must have certification for providing the third-party assurance.
There's associated question that then who certifies those agencies?
So the certifications comes from the GRI standards, and exact name right now I am not getting, that we have to see. But yes, there is certifications standard which they used to follow.
We have with us Dr. Sneha Lokhandwala. Sneha Lokhandwala sir is Vice Principal and Dean Science and Sustainability at UPL University. We welcome you, sir. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining, sir. Yes, Snehal, sir.
I think Parmeshwaran sir is also there.
Yes, Parmeshwaran sir is also there. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Dr. Parmeshwaran. But we don't able to see you.
Yes.
Now we able to see you.
Okay, very good session. I was enjoying, I was listening, a lot of information. Thank you, Dr. Chaubey.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, and I am happy to see you.
Yeah.
We also acknowledge the presence of Gadge sir. Gadge sir is also there, and I think Om Prakash sir is also joined. Gadge sir, are you there? I think he is left now. But he was with us for the entire session. So I think I said there are a few more questions, but what we can do, we can write those questions to you, and your response we'll be giving back to the participants because of the time limitation. We'll not be able to take up all the questions, but we'll write to you these queries, and later on also if we will get some other questions, that also we'll convey to you. So just we will request your support to answer those questions, those queries from the participants.
Sure.
And yes. And with this, I think we can end up the session. So we thank you, sir, on the behalf of Department of Environmental Science and Technology and UPL University of Sustainable Technology for kindly agreeing to take this session. And probably, sir, we'll have few more such kind of session, because as I can see in the questions that there are specific questions on GRI guidelines. They want more elaboration. which probably cannot be included in this presentation. I think we'll have to keep a separate session on the GRI guidelines and GRI framework. So with the inputs of the participants, we'll try to organize such kind of knowledge sharing session and such kind of capacity building sessions on associated terms, associated guidelines or frameworks. So we'll need your support again back for those sessions. So I guess we can end up the session now, right now, Kunal sir. So thank you all the participants. Yeah, thank you all the participants.
All the participants to join again at 2 p.m. for the next session.
Next session will start at 2 p.m. sharp. So please be on time. And I hope to see you again, all of you. So thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.